Hey guys, welcome to Roka Soka Raw episode 10. This time we're going to be talking about how the DC animated universe films are not great anymore. Yeah, you can tell that I sighed because, it's a real shame. So, the DC universe films have been going on now for, well, if you want to get technical, they've been releasing them sort of since Batman the Animated Series, with Mask of the Phantasm, but if you want to get technical, like when it started to become like a real thing, like an annual real thing, that was really, I suppose that really started in the late 2000s or so. Basically, when they came out with Superman Doomsday, and I remember getting that film, and I remember like it just amazed me. I mean, sure, by today's standards, is not like excellent, but at the time it was really great. I really enjoyed the fight. I thought the story was, it wasn't great, but it was serviceable. And I liked the voice of Superman and everything, so I did enjoy the film. And they came out with a Batman film that's sort of supposed to be parallel to the I guess it's the Arkham series or something like that. Oh wait, no, that's the later Batman one, Assault on Arkham. But no, this one's supposed to be in the same universe as the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. And honestly, I didn't really like those. Like, those 5 shorts that they showed. Yeah, I didn't really like those. I like the concept of having 5 shorts, but the execution just wasn't as great. They were all, none of them were really that memorable, to be honest. And I suppose after that, I really enjoyed quite a few films, such as, like, I think the high point was sort of when, by the time they got to, what was it? Under the Red Hood. Like, I'm sure most people remember that and remember how great it was. They actually did the Red Hood in animated form, which I haven't seen before that, because for some reason, Jason Todd wasn't in the animated series, nor was he in any of the series after that. Or, well, actually, he might have been in, I think he was in Brave and the Bold, but other than that, he wasn't in the other Batman series, the more popular ones. So it was really nice to see him in his own movie as one of the main characters. And, it really made me feel empathy for his character. How he wants to be like Batman, but, he wants to take it a step further and actually kill the enemies. Although he said he wanted to control the crime because he knew he couldn't get rid of it completely, so he wanted to control the crime but still use murder as a way to do it. So yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. And of course there was Dark Knight Returns, which I thought, I haven't read the original books, so but I still enjoyed the movies nonetheless. I really think that they were a much needed take on Batman, particularly in animated format. And see, looking back, I also really enjoyed movies such as Justice League Flashpoint. That was actually by far my favorite Justice League movie. Like, I think most of Justice League movies were okay, and some were just like bad, like the Throne of Atlantis. But I definitely think that Flashpoint was where the Justice League movies hit their high point. And I really think that, since then they haven't really reached that peak, in my opinion. I suppose after those movies, it generally start. Oh yeah, I also liked Superman. Darn it! Like, what's that movie called? Oh, Superman versus the Elites. Yeah, now I remember. Like, I really liked that movie because it basically addressed a lot of those people that said that Superman needs to kill and all this stuff. So that was definitely a good movie too, and probably the only really good, well, the second really good Superman movie. Obviously, actually I wouldn't even call the first one that good. It was just decent, but this one was actually pretty good, I think. I mean, certainly think it was better than All Star Superman, which was somewhat of a disappointment, but it was passable at least. But after all those movies, I think that the DCAU hype train really started to like die down. Uh, and it's funny. I noticed that every single time, well, almost every single time they release a new movie, it's the sales are less and less. And I don't think it has just to do with timing, because if anything, it should be the opposite. Over time, the newer things should be making more money than the older things, simply because the newer things, people already know about the older things, they enjoy it, so they get on the newer things. That's the logical progression, but that hasn't happened. I looked at the sales numbers and I noticed that they peaked around, I'd say around The Dark Knight Returns, because after that, overall, they've been going down. And sure, The Dark Knight Returns was bound to draw in a lot of people, but I'm just saying, even the average after that just plummeted. Well, maybe not plummeted, but declined, let's just say. And, I noticed that after that, just the quality of movies also declined. You have all these Batman movies, and what's sad is the Batman movies typically are the better DCAU movies. Like, really, the main good ones I notice are either Batman or Justice League. Like, most of the Superman ones are not that good. And heck, even most of the Justice League ones are that good, but they're still a little bit better than the Superman ones. And usually when they try something aside from that, they're just not good or memorable at all. So I could see why they stick now to mostly Batman and the Justice League, because I didn't really like the Green Lantern movies. Well, okay, I did like the Wonder Woman movie, but that's about it for the stuff that isn't those two Superman movies and Batman and Justice League movies. So anyway, I didn't like the movies such as or didn't care for the movies Son of Batman. I also didn't like I liked it at the time, Assault on Arkham, but when I go back to watch it, it didn't really age well. So I think that movie also was kind of watered down and just is not really what man, it's kind of hard to communicate this stuff, because like I guess you could say it's just meh. Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it. It's just meh. Then you have films like Batman Inc. Wait, is it Batman Inc.? Well, anyway, that Batman movie that had all those different Batman, that was based on the where they had all of the Bat family competing for the spot of Batman. Yeah, that movie was disappointing, honestly. I thought it would be a lot better, but obviously it wasn't. And then there's the most recent movies. The Justice League movie, which was Justice League versus Teen Titans, was actually pretty decent. Probably the first, I would say, decent one in a long time. Like, it might have been the first really decent. Well, it might be the best DC movie probably since. Let's see, I don't remember when all the dates were, but it might have been the best DC movie, certainly the best Justice League movie since Flashpoint. And, there have been some before then. After Flashpoint, so that's really saying something. And, of course, there's the most recent one, The Killing Joke. Yeah, guys, I'm going to be honest. I didn't care much for The Killing Joke. Like, I expected it to be a lot better, and it was just... from what I've heard, the first third wasn't even in the original comics. I don't know why they put it in there. Now they said they wanted to expand on Barbara Gordon's character, but they just did it all wrong. And as for the part that was actually adapted from the comic, again, it wasn't really that good. I suppose there is somewhat of a reason to it, because I remember watching a YouTube video from Movie Bob, like Bob Chipman. Like, I don't agree with everything he says, but I do like his analysis of certain things. So I remember watching an analysis of him talking about The Killing Joke and how, in and of itself, it's not that great of a story, but it was good for the times and whatnot. And after watching that, I can kind of see what he means, because I watched the movie and I was thinking, yeah, this isn't that good. I generally know a good story when I see one, and I mean, at best, it's probably above average. Yes, I would say it's better than the average story, but to say that this thing is some masterpiece or whatever, that's just, no, it's far from that. I literally think that every other hyped up adaptation up to this point has been better than The Killing Joke. And I'm just being honest. Like, I think that Under the Red Hood was better than Killing Joke, a lot better, actually. I think that both parts of The Dark Knight Returns also were better than Killing Joke. I also think that Flashpoint Paradox was better than Killing Joke. And honestly, I even think that Justice League vs. Teen Titans was better than The Killing Joke. Yeah, sorry for the sniffling, guys. I have a cold today for some reason. Yeah, so as I basically spent all this time describing, I'm been very disappointed with the quality of the DCAU films. And I really hope that they resolve this, but they probably won't, so I guess that's fine. They're at least watchable, but I'm not expecting too much out of them. However, I would love to see them upgrade the quality, because, like I said, after probably Flashpoint or so, the quality's really dipped after that. I wouldn't be surprised if they, water down the story so they can try to market to a bigger demographic. You know how that nonsense typically goes. Yet ironically, when they do stuff like that, oftentimes I find that people can generally tell, like, even if it's subconscious, they can tell when they're trying to, mess with them. And so a lot of people get pissed off, and at least they complain, but sometimes they even, when they get really fed up, they just stop buying it. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the reason why the sales numbers have been slipping for a lot of the more modern, the average modern, not modern, sorry, newer DCAU films. Yeah, so it's really been a big disappointment these last few years. I don't think anything that they've made in the last few years can equal the quality of, Flashpoint Paradox, The Dark Knight Returns, or the Under the Red Hood, or even a lot of the films that came out before then. Well, anyway, that's been my thoughts on the current state of DCAU films. Like, I think that they really need to recapture the former glory that they had before, and to do so by not trying to water down the story, by mistakenly trying to think that that'll reach the widest demographic possible, when they should just focus on telling a great story. And I can almost assure them that, the fan base is already there, so if they tell a great story, then it's going to get a lot of, high ratings and whatnot, and that'll encourage more people to see these movies. But I guess I don't want to do that, so anyway, let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the DCAU films. Like, do you think that they're doing just fine, or do they need a lot of work? Like, do you think that, that the film started to decline after Flashpoint Paradox and The Dark Knight Returns, or Under the Red Hood, or do you think that it's just me? Anyway, I'll see you guys later.